And now we're recording here. So welcome back to welcome back to Damn That's Crazy. This is a podcast I'm doing about the paranormal and supernatural and any other than ordinary beings. Today's episode will be a different episode. Last week I had a guest over the phone, which is my buddy Frank from back home, and today we're gonna have Sean Peterson. He's a buddy of mine from the Wesley. We're rolling on two separate cameras. We have the Twitch stream and then recording this on YouTube. So, Sean, if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Sean. I'm Fred's friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say to that.
Hey, you're live.
So last week we talked about the simplicity of ghosts and what they really are. So you have, how they're confused about being shadow people or demons or any other demonic figurine that people would assume and call a ghost. Do you have any thoughts or comments on that? What do you think a ghost is? Maybe you have another take on it than what I gave last week.
No, I think it's more just presences and a veil that death is. That separates us from the living. It separates the dead from us.
Okay.
That's all it is. I don't believe in, physical apparitions or anything like that. It's more just like them trying to reach out to us, maybe.
Okay, like energy, sort of. Then.
Yeah, like energy.
Like an energy. So, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes and no. More on the side of no, but yeah, there's definitely energy.
So, are you have to see it to believe it kind of person, or
maybe yeah.
See it to believe it? Okay.
God, I look awful on that Twitch stream. Damn.
We're also streaming on Twitch. So
yes.
He's looking at. I'm looking at both cameras, trying to get.
I look good on the YouTube camera, not on the Twitch camera.
Oh my god. so you're a see it to believe it kind of person, then.
Yeah.
Okay. Elaborate on that. Like, why do you like that?
In the sense that I've never really had any experience with any of that stuff. In the sense, I don't really think about it either. I had a neighbor that would tell me if you believe in that stuff, you let it in.
That is true. That is true. Well, it's not. It's not so much that, because whether you want to believe it or not, it's like I said.
You start to notice it if you believe in it.
Whether you want to believe it or not, it's like saying if you don't believe in it, only good will happen to you, which is false, because where there's good, there's bad, and where there's bad, there's good. So that's technically, in my sense, not saying it's wrong or right, but I believe that's.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So we also talked about the Santa Muerte last week, which I was telling Sean about right now because we were goofing off before the stream, and
y'all believe in that. Y'all believe in that stuff. I don't know how y'all do it.
I don't believe in the Santa Muerte personally, but Santa Muerte is it's a cartel religion in other senses. So you have your different lighting of the candles, and it's something that you don't want to mess with. I'm a big sucker for the paranormal and supernatural, but I wouldn't even mess with that. So it's essentially selling your soul to the devil, but in different types of forms. I'm not too big on it. I would not experience or want to mess with it. So there's the different candles have different meanings. So you have red, which is like I believe it stands for love. So you go and get this red candle, and with that candle, it you pray to the devil and all that stuff, and you'll find love. And it's weird, it has it seems nice and all. I would not mess with it, but because so in that sense, you find the love of your life, but no one is guaranteed another day. So whenever they die, or whenever you die, they're bound to die, and vice versa. Green is money, so green is essentially almost the same thing. You have to give up. It's like the Thanos. We get when Thanos when soul for a soul really is what money is for, along with all the other 10,000 candles that they have. I would not mess with it. I just, you can look it up. Santa Muerte is the Grim Reaper, and if you are want to do that stuff, don't bring it near me. That's the stuff.
Why the Catholic Church doesn't denounce it? Why the Catholic Church does not denounce that stuff is beyond me.
The Catholicism with that is two different things.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. All those candles with not the Bloody Mary, but the Virgin Mary and all that stuff. Weird. Two different things. I'm Hispanic. I don't pray for that.
I'm a Protestant. I'm a white Protestant. So I don't believe in that. I don't
I'm a
believe in
brown
that stuff.
Hispanic.
Yeah. So he's from the valley. They believe in all of that stuff. Like, weird.
So with Sean being on the show today, I just want to. I asked him to give me a couple of stories, so I'm going to give him the mic. Not really, but let him take charge.
This man, well, you don't trust me?
I don't trust you.
Yeah, okay.
So if you have any stories, Sean, that I could help you explain, or
Yeah, it was more like old lady I went to church with. I don't remember her name. I think it was Linda. Probably was Linda. But she had, when she moved into this house, there was a portrait of a girl. I don't remember the girl's name. It's in many Texas ghost stories books. It's in there all the time. But she had it. Well, she got this in the house, I believe, and the portrait was of a girl, I think, who died of the Spanish flu, perhaps.
right.
And she had, that painting was made of her as a little girl. So the lady who lived in the house now, she's still, I believe she's still alive. She's very old now, but she has this painting, and her daughter one night was not sleeping right. She just had a I guess just couldn't sleep, so she goes downstairs to the couch to sit in the living room, and for some reason the painting's in the living room. Why it's there, I don't know. But yeah, she was there, and she might have been triggered a lot. I think I've seen this too, where it looks like a picture's talking to you if you stare at it long enough.
Right.
But it looked like the picture was actually moving and talking to her and trying to speak to her, making noises. She runs up the stairs, and that's the last of that story. But there's still the lady who owned the house said, "Oh yeah, there's knives and forks, silverware that's moved around unexplainably, and apparently the ghost is harmless, just a little girl, but it's not, and it wasn't like an evil girl or anything like that. She was just a little girl that died young."
So about that, sorry to interrupt you. When it comes to, I've told a couple people. I didn't really point this out last week, but in the religious aspect of it, there are no such thing as spirits of the kids,
Okay.
because you know the Bible, you know how it works and how it rolls. Kids are pure and innocent. Their souls
Right.
are going straight to heaven.
As far as I know, I don't know anything about. I don't
So,
know anything about. I just
that-
know the story. It's in a lot of Texas ghost books. It's the haunted portrait.
That ain't no kid. I now I
It
know
might have
it's
been a
a-
young woman. It might have been.
It could have been a young woman, but so the theory behind that, not so much a theory, but a lot of explanations go out to show that if you do hear a kid of any, not saying you heard it, but like, or in any case, encounter a kid, it's not so much an energy that you're attracting or them reliving their life, but it is a demonic entity mocking themselves to be a kid.
Maybe.
It sounds weird. It's like, wow, but kids
Yeah.
are pure.
My
so-
dad. I think my dad said he saw it. Like they had a dinner at her house, and he saw the portrait. He's like, "Yeah, I've seen it. It keeps the troublemakers away from her house, though, because it's in Lamarck." So they also believe that stuff where it's like, "Oh man, don't go into that house. That's where the portrait is. That's where the ghost is."
I'd gladly go into that house, but
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I know
continue.
you would. I know you would. Yeah, that's it. That's the story.
That's pretty much it. So yeah, today's topic is actually on demonic possessions and whatnot, and famous demonic possession that people are scared of is Annabelle. I have my own Annabelle doll right here. It's about. Why are you scared of it?
I'm scared. I'm moving out of the way.
This man's scared of it. There ain't no reason to be scared. So I have a Raggedy Ann and a Raggedy Andy from the. They stay in my room with me. I'm not terrified of them. A lot of people are scared to come into my room because of it. Don't blame them. If it keeps them out, it keeps them out. Yeah. So the whole Annabelle story. If you haven't seen the movie, I'm not really gonna explain it because it's not the one I had in topic. But yeah, it's just the going for show for the demonic possessions and whatnot, and how certain spirits and any demonic entity can attack, or not attack, but cling itself onto anything. So you'd be surprised as to what, like a painting, or
Carrie, you misspelled my name.
oh yeah, cool. Sorry, I got a text. So my mic is cutting out on Twitch. That's okay. I'm not too concerned
I
about.
told
the
you to
Twitch.
get the. I told you to get the better one.
No, it's because look, it's lagging. Sorry, so technical difficulty. I'm doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you're watching on Twitch, I apologize for my mic cutting out, but my computer is lagging. I need to go buy a terabyte hard drive, whatever the hell they're called, whatever the heck they're called. And
External hard drive.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's a bit laggy right now. So if you're on Twitch, I do apologize. It's gonna be like that for the next week or so, on the next episodes. And yeah. So back to what I was saying, with the whole Annabelle stuff. So it's just or not Annabelle, but dolls being clinged onto. I mean, not dolls. Demonic entities being clinged onto anything. So it's like the portrait, as Sean had said. It could be anything like headphones, a cap, a doll, a football, anything. Furniture is a big one. Furniture is a really big one. A lot of people would come to be surprised for that.
Man, it's just trying to lounge on the couch, man. Leave him alone.
I mean, it can do whatever it wants. It's just
Chill.
some of them have a negative effect. Do you have any other stories?
Not really. Not. Still energy, yeah, but like not.
Just energies. Okay. So you just believe in like energies, not so
in
much.
the sense of like in our perception of something, like I guess sort of like a skeletons in the closet analogy, where they're ghosts in the closet. Sense of like at the Presidio La Bahia in Goliad, where the Goliad massacre was during the Texas Revolution. There was a massacre there inside the walls. Now it was falling apart, and they restored it in the '60s, but they have this service that they have there where they've held services there since before the founding of Texas. They still have like church services there as well. There's been ghost sightings there too, like a headless monk there and a lady praying at the baptismal font.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard that story. Yeah, and I don't know why my dad did this, but he said it was great. I did not have a good time, but we spent the night there. They have a service where you can sleep in like the friars' quarters or the priest quarters, and it was like a separate house just across the courtyard from the chapel, where you had the statue Mary up there. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get much sleep that night because, again, like I don't think there's ghosts there, but on the other side of the wall where I was at, there was a grave, and it was just more the notion of the fact that there was a massacre on the other side of this wall 175 years ago. It was like 100, was it? Yeah, it's like 175 years ago.
Goliad was 1835. Revolution was
36.
36. Yeah, 36.
36. Yeah, like. Yeah.
So you just believe in energies and
I think it's like in our minds that we know subconsciously that bad things happened here.
okay.
So maybe there is something there, but in the fact that even if there was, I'd be so naive as to be like, it's nothing. It's just the wind. I'll be like, yeah, okay. I'll be okay. Yeah, that happened. But I'm so naive to this stuff. Even if there's something there, like.
So what if nothing bad happened? Say you were in I don't know. Just a Walmart, right? Any Walmart. So you wouldn't assume that anything bad had happened there. Like you'd go in there with a positive mindset.
I don't think about it at the
Well, I
Walmart.
mean,
A
it's
lot
a,
of
it's,
places,
a,
like,
it's a Walmart. That's a bad example. I'm trying to think of something else.
like a church.
No, church. I don't even trust church. If you watched last week's episode,
Yeah.
you hear me talk about churches and whatnot. Okay, so let's say you go into a restaurant, any restaurant, Mr. Hamburger for one. This man's obsessed with that. If you're in Huntsville,
Yo, Mr. Hamburger is good.
this man
Don't
is
diss Mr.
obsessed with
Hamburger.
it. I have no idea why. You want to get back in the camera? You're a little off.
Oh, am I?
And so you walk into a Mr. Hamburger, the Mr. Hamburger, and you assume nothing is bad, but you know something bad happened there. Would you? Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, in the sense of like, yeah, that's real sad that something bad happened here. Maybe
But what if nothing bad happened there?
nothing bad. I wouldn't really think about
So
it.
would you think that the place is still haunted? Nothing bad has to happen there.
Not really. Well, I'd be like, that's real interesting. Hey, I don't know why. I feel a lot more comfortable with sleeping with my door closed than it open. So
Well, I only
I
have
don't know if that
one
makes
door.
any sense.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
but it's just I don't know. I haven't been in a place really long enough for that to have
Well,
happened.
it's not so much that. It's more so, spirits, or as you said, energies. Technically the same thing. They reminisce. They not reminisce. They I can't think right now. They get their energy from stuff like this, batteries and whatnot. They feed off of us. So I get what you're saying, but a place don't gotta be bad for you to get bad vibes. It's like any church, for example. A church is what people assume is a place of God.
FUMC Huntsville hits different at night with all the lights off.
Yes, it does.
It's different.
It does.
Like when you're there in the day, it feels fine. Like you feel nice, feel alive. At night though, when we're doing.
Why do you think that is, though? What do you think that is?
It's just the atmosphere, just the gothic look of the church. But that's how they were designed. That's why you have like gargoyles on cathedrals in Europe, was to scare away demons, and to like cleanse the town of any wrong. That's part of the architecture of that's in the design of the church itself.
Right.
It's meant to scare away evil things.
Interesting. I knew that. I'm just.
Yeah, I know you. I had a feeling you knew that. I'm like trying to come up with like history facts.
No, you're good. You're good. Moving forward, though, another demonic possession that I believe is a lot better than any Raggedy Andy is Robert the Doll.
Yeah, Robert.
So if you don't know about Robert the Doll or Chucky is actually based off of Robert the Doll. Since we're talking about historical facts, Chucky's never seen the films. Sean probably has seen them. I can't tell you about the films and how accurate they are.
I haven't seen that. I watched the Conjuring films. I haven't seen the.
Those are some great movies.
The clips I've seen from the Chucky movies are like borderline comedy. Like,
yeah, I'm not too big on the Chucky.
she's like, I'll throw you in the fire.
Not trying to like turn this to a comedic podcast, but
No, it's not. But like,
I agree. It's like stupid dolls, like damn 2 feet tall.
the man's funny. Like, Chucky's funny.
This man was about to get punted. So it was given to Robert Otto and Eugene Robert Otto in the early 1900s, and the doll's about 3 feet tall, and it sits in a sailor outfit with a little plush lion right next to it. Located in Key West, Florida. That's where Robert's at in one of the museums. I don't know. It's a museum somewhere in Key West. So the story behind Robert is. So I'll start. Most people, when they talk about it, they start from like how he was like tormenting the kids and the family. But so when it first came to slavery was sort of still a thing back then. They had servants, and Robert's mother was very cruel and vicious to them still. Keep in mind, this is 1900s. Things had changed, but it's the 1900s, early 1900s, and so one night she caught all these, or she fired them, and then she fired them for practicing black magic. Yeah.
I think I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were practicing black magic, and she's like, "Yo, what is going on? You're fired." And so they were fired, and as revenge, they gave they used black magic and put it on the doll, and they gave it to the Otto family, and so it's a doll. Like I said, it's 1900s. I guess growing up, I didn't play with dolls, but nothing against that really. But this is like the 1900s, as I said. Yeah, that's Robert the Doll. If you want to see what he looks like.
Yeah, Robert. Oh,
so he's showing both screens.
That's Robert.
Yeah. So Robert.
All right, I'm gonna delete that.
Robert was treated like a family member when he first came into the family. Gene had his own. Gene gave him his own seat at the family table for dinner. And he just really they really got attached with each other, and it wasn't until a couple of weeks in that all this was happening. Strange voices started to come in and around the doll. Noises were coming out. A couple nights, Robert's parents had heard Jean screaming bloody murder, and then they would enter the room and they would see furniture being moved around. That's crazy. It's like I said last week. Demonic entities will move furniture. It's not like an air freshener falling. That's not so much a demonic entity. That could be explained by anything, like Sean said. I'm very skeptical too about stuff, but when it's furniture, that's something else.
That's like a whole
Yeah,
heavy item.
this is like 1900s furniture too.
Getting
This
thrown
is
around.
pretty heavy.
Getting thrown around.
And so it took a big toll on Robert. He was having vicious and ruthless nightmares, and the doll was moving around on its own. The family claimed to be seeing this doll moving around a lot by itself. Other things like the neighbors would look into the window or look through the window and see Robert moving around. Which I'm not too big on that.
There were. I remember the story, like they heard scuffling, like in the
the
top of the house, like it was.
So that's later.
I just
on.
see like this. I just see like this little thing, like.
That's a little later on into the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So
I think I watched the whole.
So after the family finally had enough, and they had put Robert in the attic, and they thought they stopped him, which is where Sean said the scuffling comes in. So Robert, still making his presence known, would scuffle around the attic, and demonic voices were still being able to heard. And when guests came over, they all heard this, and then eventually word got out, and I don't think anything was done. So Robert moves on with his life, and then his parents die, so he takes over the house, and he rekindles with Eugene moved on, not Robert, I apologize. Gene moved on, and then comes back to his house when his father dies, and he inherits it, and then he rekindles with Robert, takes him out the attic, and out of strange. It was like a circle of life. It kept happening again, and Gene was married and had kids, and it took a big toll on the family. So, like I said, sorry, I lost track of where I was going. Gene had started taking. Sorry.
Very convincing story.
Yeah, sorry.
Very convincing
I'm
story.
trying to look at my notes and read, because
I find the stories fascinating, but it's like, okay. I know you believe in it. I'm just like, oh, that's cool.
Well,
that's interesting. That's interesting.
I do want to go to Key West to visit him, because he can visit. I'll get into it later.
Stop by New Orleans on the way. Get some beignets, like I said last week.
So, he takes out the doll, and his wife wasn't a big fan of it. So the doll started doing what it was doing, and Robert would sit the doll right next to the bed where they would sleep in, just in a chair, and furniture was still being moved around. It took a big toll on the wife, and eventually Robert his mood started changing. So overall, when it comes with demonic entities and something trying to not so much possess you, but take over you, he started having mood swings, and it got physical between him and his wife. And then he died a couple years later after that, and after that the wife died. So in the house, the house was up for sale and whatnot. So then a couple years later, a 10-year-old little girl and her family move into the house, and it starts all over again, giving her nightmares and whatnot. And then they got rid of it. Which is what I said at the beginning of the story. It's in a museum somewhere. I do not know the name of the museum, but it's somewhere in Key West, Florida. It's in the basement, and looking back at the photo Sean showed,
It's in the East Martello Museum.
there we go.
And it's owned by Key.
Somewhere in Florida. That's all I know. I could not tell you. I could.
Yeah,
but,
it's in Key West, I think.
yeah. So that's where you have that's where he's located in, and that's where your stories come in, which I'm very skeptical about too. Where it's like you have to ask permission to take a photo of it. If not, you'll die in some fatal car crash or some mysterious way. I'm like, well,
Like
I don't.
with the Annabelle doll.
Yeah, that's sort of like with the Annabelle doll, and I don't agree with that at all. I mean, I do believe in demonic entities, like I said, but I don't believe they have the force to be doing that. I mean, they could, but I don't believe that. I mean, how would you even get permission to take a picture of the damn doll? That's why I'm so skeptical about it. It's like, is he gonna nod his head? Yes. I mean, a lot of people are scared to go because of how, I guess, creepy it is. But if I
It
were,
is a pretty creepy looking
I mean,
doll.
it is. But would I keep one? Probably not. Probably. I don't know. I don't know yet.
Maybe we just assign, because he looks creepy, we assign that to the idea that